Clarice has one word. Let's see if she'll say it. Mama. There you go. There you go. Thanks you guys for coming. That was a great atmosphere today. Sorry that I sound like this. This is Sunday and I'm in the Pac-12. I know, I sound crazy, right? Appreciate you guys coming. A conference sweep is something we never take for granted. Our first noon game as well, kind of get into that rhythm. I thought Oregon came out and did what they do, which is play a zone and try and attack the paint and use their size. And we really wanted to create tempo. I was super happy with how we shared the ball. I mean, 25 assists on 28 baskets is terrific. I thought that we got contributions from a ton of different people. We got some great contributions off the bench. And when it came down to it, our go-to players acted like they're some of the best players in the conference, in the country, which they are. And so I thought it amounted to a really good team win today.
So Oregon has, a fair amount of size. What do you kind of make of the defense and how the game plan was coming in defensively for you guys?
I mean, they're huge. I just keep looking at Rayah and say, you got another big one coming, right? We've had back-to-back kids. So we rely on our interior post defenders, Rayah, Clarice, KD at times, to play great one-on-one defense, and we also bring some doubles. So I thought there was nothing new with that game plan. I thought we let Philly get a couple ones early, and then we're really terrific after that. And then their size on the other end is something we have to account for, because we can't just go right to the glass and attack it. We got to really move the ball, and I thought, we did that. We didn't shoot the three great, but we shot it well enough, and I thought when that ball was moving, we got to our spots to try to do what we do, which is create tempo and not just try to live right at the rim when they have giants in there.
Just to save your voice, Coach Rayah, you came on the first quarter it was a little tough. You obviously, the bigger centers were able to kind of get advantage on you, but you came back in that second half and really was new life almost in that second half for you, and you provided great defense. What kind of was that change, and how did maybe you change your techniques to defend the bigger players?
So fun fact, I actually probably my teammate Clarice on that. When I came into the locker room in the second half, she told me that I was letting her actually bury me. She said show an arm, and then the guards are less likely to basically she told me play better post defense, and I did that. When I came out and made that adjustment, I was like, wow, I was just thinking her in the back of my mind. And that's just what it was for me, having that personal pride to just come out and stop my opponent.
Coach, obviously there was the disappointment of the loss, but to come back this weekend, a tough victory Friday, today with the circumstances you're up against, how big was it to just kind of get that momentum back?
Huge. We talked about that after the UCLA game, the next 17 are the most important, and the only ones that we can attack right now are the two that are in front of us. This conference is so tough. You're going to hear me say it, all the coaches say it again and again, but to have a home weekend coming off the UCLA game, we knew they were must-wins, and more importantly, just to get our minds right in terms of being able to focus and be elite in each and every day and game that's in front of us, because the conference season is so long, and if you take your foot off the gas, you can stumble. And we know that our ceiling is very, very high, but we know that anybody, nobody's too good to get knocked off if you're not ready. And so I thought this weekend really showed us that, and I think our players responded.
Probably wasn't you mentioned the start, probably wasn't the start that you wanted, but how much did your defense allow you to kind of settle into the game moving in the second quarter?
I thought we really turned up the aggression after that first 3 or 4 minutes and got some separation. We then allowed them to get a couple transition baskets, which made it a little closer in that first quarter, right? But then I called that timeout, and I think it was the end of the half, and we got a little separation again. I like that they can respond. Obviously, we want to do it without having to call timeouts or without having to get going. But yeah, we felt like we were able to create the tempo that we wanted to, just not for 40 minutes. But again, credit them. They're a good team. They pose problems, and they're really big. And if you don't have your foot on the gas, they're gonna turn the tempo how they want it.
D'Angelo?
Obviously, you knew we were coming in playing a zone, so I want to know how much did the game plan change throughout the game with the zone affecting your offense?
I mean, I was telling the team, it's harder for me to control, not that I want to control every possession, but it's harder for us to get the exact looks we're used to getting. When we didn't have a long prep, we'd done some zone offense all week, knowing it was coming. But I have to really trust. You got to trust the ball movement. Kenzie's really a maestro at getting people where they need to be. I said that in the locker room. Like, we obviously found spots where we could get Juju in the middle, of the floor and kickouts. Kenzie can play in the middle of the floor. Rayah got really aggressive in the second half, found her spots. But I just like the 25 assists on 28 baskets because I can't tell you, hey, we're going to run this to this to this, and here's the 3 looks. In zone, you got to shift it. You got to know where the gaps are. You got to be zone busters, whether that's hitting a 3, whether that's attacking, for a pull-up. But I think we found our rhythm there at some point.
Looking ahead to UCLA, who is your next opponent in just a week from now, UCLA was able to have 48 rebounds last time you played them. How does the last 2 games against Oregon State and Oregon, and even the film that you watch against UCLA, how is that going to change your game plan going forward against a team like UCLA that, like Oregon, is bigger in size?
Yeah, I don't think there's any secrets. They're an incredibly good rebounding team. They're the best in the country. Obviously the game plan doesn't change there. Like, box the heck out, be the tougher team, and try to keep them off the boards. That's just what we have to do. Like, there's no way to beat UCLA, unless you're willing to do the dirty work on the boards.
Layla?
Yeah, McKenzie, you seem to pretty much be effective everywhere on the court, and I feel like your role on the team has been growing throughout the season. So how do you feel like your role has started to change or increase throughout the season?
I think every game is different. A lot of it is dependent on matchups. A lot of it is dependent on, obviously, they play a zone, so I'm in a lot of different spots. I think that's just one of my strengths, is being versatile. And I think as we've gotten into conference play, it just looks different. There's more scouts, teams know your offense better, teams know personnel better. So I just try to do whatever I can. One day it might be getting off it more, one day it might be scoring. So.
Lindsay, coming off a 5-point performance last game, how much did you kind of get on yourself to kind of show up today, or to kind of have a better performance today?
Not too much, honestly. I try to stay pretty even keel. Obviously didn't have a great shooting night, but I didn't feel like it was anything dramatic or drastic that I needed to change. I just didn't hit shots. Obviously you want to have a good shooting night every night, but I try to keep myself never too high, never too low. So, I just came out here with the same mentality, same routine. Good shooting night or bad shooting night, I kind of do the same thing.
Hold on a second. You.
This is for Coach. Juju had a season low in 17 points, yet she was still able to pretty much impact the game in a lot of different ways, in her rebounding, her assisting, even in moments when you needed defense on the bigs or switching, she was able to provide that. How have you just noticed her impact through the 12 games? Obviously she's a prolific scorer, but just in general, how have you noticed her impact to the program through her first 12 games?
Yeah, just think about how you started that question. Season low of 17 points. That's crazy, right? Like, that's just an insane thing. And we know the gravity that she brings to the game around. Like, she had dang near a triple-double. So if her lowest scoring output is 17 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 turnover, it's pretty remarkable. And I think that people game plan so that, Rayah's got 16 points and Forbes has 16 points and Taylor has 8. Like, that you got to pick your poison. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to kind of sell out on her and try to make it tougher, she's going to get you in other ways. She's a two-way player, right? She gets a ton of deflections. She can block shots. She's obviously more than just a scorer. And we're going to continue to trust that she makes the right basketball play again and again. And I think, it's just a misconception. People think she's just a scorer. She can really, really score. And I think that other coaches are afraid of that at any time, which opens it up for other people. But she's going to find a way. She's a winner. I would say she's a winner more than anything else. Like, that offensive rebound she got and kick out that went one more to Kenzie for 3. I thought was an incredibly important play in the game. And so, yeah, she's going to hurt you in a number of ways. And, we're just glad she's a part of our team because it's leading to a lot of winning along with her teammates.
Right. It was kind of a true team victory, a lot of contributors across the board. How key is it to have those moving forward so that opposing defenses can't lock in on one part?
I feel it's great. It's great to show our team strengths and versatilities. Just going into deeper into conference, it's great to have a strong team, and for us, that's great going into, like I said, further into conference. So it's exciting to see our stat sheet packed up.
Last one, D'Angelo.
Looking ahead to UCLA, we didn't see, or we haven't seen much of a too-big lineup for you guys. Like, within these last 3 games, with the size you faced, how much are you guys considering that going ahead to UCLA, knowing how the outcome was and getting out rebounded last time?
I think we're continually trying to evolve and be the best team that we can be. Katie at the 4 brings a little more size than, say, Kenzie at the 4, but I think Kenzie and Taylor at the 4 bring matchup problems for people and more shooting. If you mean Rayah and Clarice, I would say nothing's off the table. at any time, but I think we just have to figure out the best way for us to be the most effective basketball team we can be, and I like that we have a lot of depth and versatility and options, and everything's on the table for us to try to win games. That's my mindset is, how do we put ourselves in a position to win?